Hello and welcome to our show, Film Talk with AJ Dean. I'm AJ Dean, your host, and I have my very wonderful and very talented co-host with me, Paul Vato. Paul, how is it today in Las Vegas?
Hot, very hot, still running hot. It was it was like 111 just the other day, so it's still hovering up there, but it's starting to cool down just a little bit, but it's warm.
Wow. That's why we have a Hawaii theme, and we're just trying to keep cool, aren't we, Paul? And we have a great guest with us today, Solomon Chertok. He is an independent filmmaker from New York, Manhattan. He's an actor and voiceover artist, and he is a producer. So let's give him a warm welcome. Hello, Solomon. So glad you're here with us.
Honor and pleasure, to be on the show and to be with you guys, here on the East Coast, you guys in the West Coast, and we got the rain here today, you got all the heat. So, but then again, you both are hot. You're hot looking. You're both hot. So you get the heat going on there.
We are, and we're trying to keep cool. It's so great that you're here, Solomon. I do want to give a special shout out to Georgette Dante, a show business legend in Las Vegas. Hi, Georgette, we love you. That is how we met. Isn't that right, Solomon?
Absolutely. The amazing Georgette. She introduced us so many months ago in a galaxy far, far away, and she brought us here together, and we made it happen. Thank you, Georgette. We love you. Mwah.
Yes, we do. We love Georgette, and we love it that she promotes and supports everyone. And here we are together. So again, let's jump right into it. And Paul, I know you're going to have some questions too about Solomon, but let's look at these great movie poster and pictures on screen. We have End Titus, which is like an anime, and then we have State of the Art. So let's talk about End Titus. Can you tell us a little bit about what End Titus is, Solomon, and what role you play?
Oh, absolutely. End Titus is an animated action adventure web series from Delmar Burkett, the great Delmar Burkett from Michigan, as we're all over the world here. And it's animated by the amazing Pedro Musa from Indonesia. So we're worldwide here. And it's about these demon spirits that try to resurrect their ancient leader, Titus, to come out and rule the world. And it's up to certain warriors to stop that from happening. And that's what this action adventure animated web series is all about. And it's just a wonderful pleasure to be part of it, as I'm the voice of the one of the lead roles, Robert, in the series. And it's been a wonderful time. We came on last October on Halloween. We debuted our first episode. It's been one episode per month we've been doing, and we have one more episode left to go in the season. So basically, the season finale, as it's called, is coming right up in October, possibly Halloween. I don't know. We'll have to wait on that. But if you go to endtitusvdm.com, you'll find out the exact date when that will happen. And it's a wonderful series. It pays homage to those 1940 serials, like where it ends always on a cliffhanger, or like the 1966 Adam West Batman TV show, which always ended on same bat time, same bat channel with that cliffhanger. Or recently, in recent years, my favorite show, 24 with Kiefer Sutherland, which to me, I love that show because it literally always, ended on a cliffhanger. Nobody was safe on that show, and you had no idea what the hell was going to happen in that hour. And that's what this show pays homage to as well. And it's wonderful to be part of it. And it's my first animation, believe it or not, that I'm voicing.
Congratulations, Solomon. And it's like anime. It's cartoon anime. It's all the rage now. What do you think of that, Paul?
It's another industry that just falls under the acting. I love it. I mean, it's all such creative. I love the voiceover aspect or the voice artistry that goes with it, because it's acting, but it's so much more difficult because you don't have your physical body to rely on. So you really, as an actor, you really have to make expressions and so that it comes through. So I mean, that world fascinates me. So thank you for having our guest today.
Yes, and I watched a few of Entitled, and it really is fun. I enjoyed it. It's popcorn entertainment because it's just like you said, Solomon. It's got that hook at the end, and it makes you want to watch the next episode. And so this was the creative idea. Who came up with this again? You mentioned him.
Delmar Burkett is his name. He is an actor, director, producer from Michigan, as we're all over, and believe it or not, this actually started as a 2011 live action web series that he made for 2 seasons. And it's actually on the website if you want to see what the live action version looked like. But it didn't go the way he wanted to because he didn't have the access to like the special effects or the budget to, for the big, sets and stuff to do. So he kept in the past couple of years thinking, what can I do? I love this idea to make it, get it the vision I wanted. And he's like, how about do it animation wise, and it's in the form of manga, if you know that comic book style, which is that Asian manga style, which is how everybody is drawn in that sense. And he's teamed up with Pedro Musa from Indonesia, who's the amazing animator, and how he does each episode. It takes him a long time to put each one together, and it's just amazing how it's basically like a comic book come to life almost each episode.
Yes,
Animation,
yes.
and also with the dialogue where you see like the comic book, the bubbles, where the dialogue, where if I'm speaking to you, you'll see the bubble, right? The white bubble right next to where you see the dialogue, and you hear the voice and you see the bubble with the dialogue. So it's that mixture right there, that style with what Delmar and Pedro has created. And they put together an amazing cast, including AJ Velasquez, Catherine Black, Claudia Wen, the amazing Steve Ludwig, Scream Queen Debbie D, who actually is good friends with one of your guests that you had on recently, none other than Butch Patrick.
Oh, amazing. Isn't that a small world, Solomon?
Everybody's connected, and that's where, especially a project like this where we're all over. It's not, even though I'm in New York, everybody's from all over the country. And, including, we have Tara Erickson, Victoria Savage, Dave DeSico, Demi Davis, Bettina Sky, Deanna Day, Steve Ludwig, if I mentioned it, if I forgot mentioning it before, but this is a wonderful cast. And I keep thinking of it kind of like Star Trek, that we're very, a wonderful eclectic group that Delmar, who really, how he puts this together, it's all based on if you sound what he envisions the character to be.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really all about that. Do you fit what he sounds like? Because believe it or not, when I auditioned for this thing, I didn't audition for my role. It was actually for the other lead in the series, which is Charles. Because basically there's also a kind of like a buddy cop feel in almost each episode between Robert and Charles, which are the main characters. So it kind of goes back to like the 80s, like 48 Hours, Lethal Weapon, Rush Hour, Bad Boys type of feel. Because in each episode, there's the chemistry between my character and the character Charles, which AJ Velasquez, he voices. And the funny thing is, we've never even met in person yet.
Oh my gosh. I love his name though, AJ Velasquez.
He's amazing, and what's crazy is when you hear our voices and how we match, and it's like, is that voice really match that guy? It's amazing what we can do in that sense with the voiceover now. But that's, the wonderful thing with this animation. What Delmar is wonderful doing is how he can get that chemistry between the voice and with each actor, and we're all over it in that sense. So
yes, it's fabulous and a lot of fun. You've got a full cast of incredibly talented artists and actors and voiceover like yourself. And voiceover and acting, it's all acting. Voiceover, acting, it all counts. It all matters. And so I love that. I really, really love that. It's really a fun episode and a fun series. And also, we want to switch over a little bit to state of the art. Tell us a bit about that state of the art.
Oh, one quick thing before we switch to it, because one thing I can't forget about really quick, the merchandising. It's always good to have merchandising. The T-shirts.
Yay! Oh my gosh, you're your own studio, Solomon.
Yeah, my character by Robert T-shirts, and the baseball hat.
Oh, right.
It has the name of the character right on the back of it.
Wow, I love it. So Solomon, how can people get those?
Well, it's being worked on, the merchandise as we speak. It should be on the ntitusvdm.com website down the road right now, because right now our goal is to get that last episode out. And the other big news, and I have a big exclusive here from Titus to hear, episode 6, which is one of my favorite episodes of the season so far, got into the Urban Action Showcase and Expo, which is taking place November 5th and 6th at the AMC Empire 42nd Street Movie Theater in Times Square. That's this big event, film festival, that a lot of celebrities go there, and they chose episode 6 to screen there to be part of it. I've actually been to that festival a couple of years ago. So yeah, this is great here on your show.
Congratulations, Solomon. Oh my gosh, this is incredible and wonderful news, isn't it, Paul?
100%. Are you kidding me? Congratulations, and thank you for giving us the exclusive and the letting people know about it here and now. So thank you.
Absolutely. UrbanActionShowcase.com is the website. They do an amazing festival, a lot of celebrities. It's a wonderful networking opportunity for all that come. They have seminars. They teach, especially with martial arts and all that stuff. It's a really wonderful action film festival, and it takes place in Times Square, November 4th and 5th. The ticket information is on the website, UrbanActionShowcase.com. And hey, if you're in New York, either of you guys, during that weekend, because trust me, a lot of companies, a lot of the players in the business come there. Where do you actually make the connections? At these film festivals. You network. You get off that you do that. That's how you do it.
That's right. Thank you so much for that, Solomon. And that is so, so true. So anyone who would like to participate and attend, please check it out. And Solomon has such great fun events and projects going on. So thank you so much for that invitation, Solomon. And okay, let's talk a little bit now about state of the art. What can you say about that?
That's another animated, what's wonderful is how Titus opened up that opportunity for me, because I've done voiceover before, but I hate to say the pandemic, in a way, it brought a different opportunity for me, in a sense, where doing voiceovers, because I've done voiceover before, but not for animation. But now I've been doing it nonstop the last 2 years, constantly at home, where I've usually been used to doing it in a studio with the director. And here, by doing it at your own home, you're not getting the director there with you to get the direct feedback of, oh, do I need to re-record this line again? Or, should I say it differently? You get that, but it's called a delayed feedback, meaning you're gonna get it, a couple hours later from when you recorded it. So you're gonna be wondering, did I get it right? Did I get it right? Did I do it right? And then you find out, yeah, I did it, or no, I have to re-record it. So, but Titus was a big one for me that opened up, one of the first ones that I got during that time period in the summer of 2020. And it opened up for me new doors. And this is one of them, was this animated short film called State of the Art, which is kind of like a Pixar animated short. If you love those, if you've seen like with Toy Story, Bugs Life, Incredibles, those type of animation, this is that type of animation. And if you remember, if you go to the movie theater, they always showed a short before the movie would go on.
Yes.
This is that type of short. It's like 2 to 3 minutes. It's from animator Grace Crawford, who I believe is from Canada. I'm not sure. I've never met her in person. That's another thing. I've never met any of these people in person because, you know,
That's the nature of it today, right, Solomon? Isn't that right, Paul? It's you can live anywhere now. You don't have to live in Hollywood.
Exactly. And it's crazy how it's bringing everybody together in that sense. But Grace is an amazing animator, and I auditioned for her. The state of the art is basically this wonderful comedic animated short that takes place in an art gallery where there's this one piece of art who happens, it's on the poster right there, that statue, who happens to be the most popular attraction in that art gallery. And then another piece of art comes along and steals his audience. So there's a little rivalry that happens where he wants his audience back. And I'm the voice of the new piece of art that comes and takes his place. So
Solomon, is this piece of art right here we're looking at, is this a gargoyle?
yeah, it is.
Okay, wonderful.
And then stealing the show. But basically, that's the one that's been popular. And then I come along, my character, and try to steal his audience, which he does not like.
Is your character a gargoyle too, or something different?
Oh no, that I'm not going to reveal on that. That you'd have to see with the short on there because it's so cute. And the one thing I love with it, dialogue is actually gibberish. Meaning the lines of dialogue were not like regular average dialogue, but rather gibberish sounds. So for me, that was very unique in terms of how to do that. And I actually, in order to prepare for that, I rewatched like old movies of Robin Williams and Jim Carrey because they're the masters at creating gibberish language in terms of sounds and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that helped me in terms of coming up with my own sounds for this, character, that's butting heads with this gargoyle here.
Yes, I had to ask though. I know you don't have to answer, but I had to ask. Isn't that right, Paul? Paul, what do you think of this? Isn't this cool?
I love it. So, thank you for giving us a little bit, but we also understand, the artistic side, and you don't want to do any spoiler alerts. So let's make sure that people watch it. And where can this project be found? Where can we watch this project, or what's going on with that?
The film festival rounds as we speak. It premiered in June at the Oakville Festival of Film and Arts in Oakville, and it did very well there, and it's now making the rounds. It probably will be online. Usually with short films, after they do the film festival route, they end up usually on like YouTube or Vimeo or on the filmmakers' websites. With Grace, I would not be, and Grace, if you are watching this, I would, and I'm saying this here, my thoughts, I would not be surprised if Pixar ends up hiring her at their studio because she's an amazing animator. And if you look at that, what she did in 2-3 minutes, to me, it's like she's going to end up working with them because it's the same type of style, the same type of feel that you would get from a Pixar movie, from watching like Soul or Up or Turning Red that they just came out with. Actually, it was Lightyear was the last one they just came out with. But I can definitely see Grace working for Pixar. She's very wonderful and wonderful to work with, and a very cute film that everybody's for the entire family.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much. And hello to Grace. And thank you, Grace, for creating such a beautiful movie poster and a film poster and that story as well. And this is fabulous. I'm so thrilled to talk to you, Solomon. Your background, you studied theater and acting in cinema at Brooklyn College. Is that right?
Oh yeah, Brooklyn College. Believe it or not, a lot of famous people went there. Jimmy Smits went there. Bail Organa from Star Wars. Mr. Jimmy Smits went there. F. Murray Abraham actually, I think, for a while ran the theater department there. at one point. Michael Lerner, the actor, if you know, he's went there. A lot of famous people went there at Brooklyn College. So that's where I got my start.
Amazing. And how did you, was there, excuse me, was there a film that started you on your journey that inspired you? Was it Star Wars or Star Trek?
Star Wars, the first one, because I was actually born the day after the original Star Wars A New Hope, Episode 4 came out. I was born the day right after, and I always asked my mother, how come I wasn't born the day of? And she was like, because I wanted to see the movie. There was no way I was going to have you out. No way. I want to see the movie. No way. No way. No way. You can come out of my womb the day after, but not the day of. I'm watching popcorn, watching the movie. And what's the funny thing was, it was actually the first movie I saw in the movie theater when it was re-released a couple of years later. Because they always, if you remember back in the time in the late 80s, they would re-release some movies. And I remember it was right before Empire Strikes Back, they re-released it, and I saw it, and that was the first time I was taken to a movie theater. And I'll never forget my grandmother, my mother, my sister, all took me to a movie theater in 42nd Street in Times Square when we saw it. And I was so nervous and scared because I had no idea what the hell a theater was at that time. I was like maybe 3 or 4 years old when I saw it. And I got very scared when the lights, went down. But then when you hear bum ba da bum 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 bum, the John Williams score, I was blown away, where I was like, that's what I wanted to be. I wanted to be Luke Skywalker. I wanted to save the princess. I wanted to be with Chewbacca, with R2 and C-3PO, and
Yes.
that's where my boyhood dream, started right there.
And it is coming true. You're doing it, Solomon. Over to you, Paul.
Back to 42nd Street, man. It's funny where it begins, comes around full circle, because you're going to be there again with this film festival. So that's amazing. I just wanted to touch on the fact that about acting and voiceover. I think, and this is kind of going out to those people that watch our show, maybe that are newer into the industry or have dreams of getting into the industry, because I know that I get a lot of people saying like, oh, I can make funny voices. I can do funny voices. I should be a voiceover actor. But they forget that there's that word actor in there. You still need the basis of acting. You still need to be a great actor in order to be a great voice actor. It's not just about mimicking or making funny voices or things like that. Just like with stand-up comedy, it's like, oh, I can make people laugh. I can do stand-up. I mean, it's a little bit different once you really delve into it. So I think it's just for the people out there that might, somebody like Solomon is professional and he makes it look easy, but it's not easy. So yeah, thank you for sharing some of your journey with us, Solomon.
One thing I can recommend for any actor there, definitely have a very good microphone, because especially when recording at home, this here happens to be the Blue Yeti microphone, and here a Pop Shield. I record usually on GarageBand or I think it was Audio City, or I forgot the name of it, like Odyssey, but it's the same type of program as GarageBand. That's how I usually do the recordings for the voiceovers, and I send the programs, whether by Wave or MP3, to the animator. And whatchamacallit, that's helpful information to any actor, in terms of Blue Yeti microphone. That's one you definitely want to go for, this big boy here.
Thank you so much for thank you so much for sharing that, Solomon, because that is so generous of you. You are that type of heart. You're the new Hollywood type of heart that wants to share information with others, and we love that about you, don't we, Paul?
Yeah, it is, and you're right. It's a new Hollywood where it's about collaboration. It's about this collaborative spirit. So I'm glad that we're all part of that here and now, and we have the ability, like Solomon, to record at home, invest in good equipment, and you don't have to go to a studio. You can connect with Source Connect, and they can direct you from afar, even. So it's amazing. It's an exciting time that we're living in as far as content creation goes. So that's amazing.
It really is. And I want to, on that note of content creation, I wanted to ask you, Solomon, what is your dream job, your dream role? Who would you want to act opposite, or what type of genre film? Is there something that you would like, your message to the world to play?
Oh, I would love to be James Bond, but I know that's not the only way I would get to play that role is in a fan film. But honestly, I think at this point right now, I think Tom Cruise had it right, where he created an original character in his own in the Mission Impossible franchise, and look how successful that was because he didn't have to live up to someone else's expectation because he wasn't playing that character. He played an original character, and to me, I'd rather, do you an original character, even though I love Bond, that's one of my favorites. That was my father's favorite movie character, with Sean Connery being his favorite and my favorite and my mother's favorite. Um, and what's funny, I've met several people from the Bond franchise who all kept saying, oh, yeah, they could see me do it. But the thing is, I know it wouldn't happen, but other than maybe a fan film. But, I would love to work with somebody like Harrison Ford or De Niro. I've worked with people I've been in big movies that, I've done background work for movies like Kate and Leopold with Hugh Jackman. I've done anger management with Adam Sandler. I did the Manchurian Candidate remake with Denzel Washington. I did Hitch with Will Smith, but I didn't have a scene with him. It was more with Kevin Smith and not Longoria, Mendez. Ava Mendez in the Madison Square Garden, the big date scene in there. And I've also done TV shows. I made appearances like on Rescue Me with Dennis Leary. If you're in New York, you've done Law and Order. And that's the main thing everybody does. But I've been on Oz with Ernie Hudson. I got to work with him. Very nice guy, Ernie Hudson from the Ghostbusters. And you're talking to somebody who's been on the set since I was maybe 2 or 3 years old. I was on the Little House on the Prairie set. And believe it or not, I could show you right here. Here's a file. I'll take this out of the, so this way you can see it. It's actually autographed too.
Oh, wow. That's
me, my father, sister, and that's Melissa Gilbert. And this is the cast of Little House on the Prairie, Old Tucson Studios, Tucson, Arizona. And we were on the set for that. We showed, basically Old Tucson was so nice, those days when the studio was open, because that's where some of the famous Westerns have been shot. And this was like, I think 1979. I even got Melissa to autograph it in 2019. She's very nice. But this was the cast, that my sister, that's me, my father, Melissa right here. And here, if you can see the cast.
amazing, amazing.
Oh, Michael Landon, though. Well, my sister met Michael Landon, and I was kind of pissed off that she met him and I didn't. But this is at the right place, the right time. But I've been on a film set since I was that old.
That is wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing that. Those are precious memories, aren't they, Paul?
Yeah, they sure are. That's amazing.
I remember, I used to watch Little House on the Prairie, and it was one of my favorite TV shows. So popular, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, so this is wonderful. And it's wonderful to hear that you've acted on many sets and enjoyed that. So you love the whole production process, and now you're doing more producing. Is that right, Solomon? Are you getting
Absolutely.
more? Yeah.
There's one thing about it. I started with the acting, and I like doing the producing as well, because I got to a point where I wasn't acting in the films or stuff that I wanted to do, stories I wanted to tell. So somebody said, why don't you make your own films? So one thing is, they all keep saying, don't use your own money to start off, but unfortunately I did that to start off with my films. And then I started producing other people's films with their money. So I had to start with my money there, but that's how I slowly, by making a couple of shorts, I did one feature-length improv feature, and lately I've been producing stuff for other people for their money, in that sense, rather than my own. So right now I've been producing, I'm part of the Trevor the Clown horror franchise that my friend Dave DeSico, who's also a voiceover actor in Titus. he created this character, Trevor the Clown. If you could see right here,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
Trevor. That's
Okay.
Dave. He created this character a couple of years ago at a. He went to a Halloween party, and he didn't have any. He was looking for something, that to wear. So he wanted to play with people's fears. So he kept saying with dolls and clowns. So he put this thing together, and it basically scared the crap out of a lot of people at this party. And they kept saying, "What film is this from?" So it started to make him think about that, and then him and I would go to all these comic book conventions and meet these celebrities where he was dressed as Trevor, and so many people would come to him for photos, autographs. Even the celebrities would want to take a picture and put it on their social media, and it got to the point that everybody was like, "Oh, you should make a movie out of this character." And he wrote a origin film called Works, which placed in so many different screenplay competitions. Like it placed number 17 on the top 100 hot list, and it basically was making the rounds there. And I was trying to get Dave to make a short film of Works, the origin story, which he didn't really want to do at the time because it's harder when you make a short out, trying to make the short to make the feature. Billy Bob Thornton did that with Sling Blade, where he made the short and he ended up getting the money to make the feature. Dave didn't want to do that with the origin story. He ended up changing his mind and decided, you know what? I'll do a short film of Trevor, but I don't want to do the origin story. I'd rather it take place after. So what we've been shooting lately has been the sequel, sort of a sequel to a film that hasn't been made yet. So this takes place, and I think this is what's wonderful about it is that because nobody's really done this before, where they shot a film in order to try to make this franchise come to life, a film that takes place after the origin film, where it's done in such a way where you get to understand who this clown character is. Because people are always kept saying, is he like the Joker? Is he like Pennywise from It? Is he like Killer Clowns from Outer Space? Because when you see him, you keep thinking, oh, a cat, clown, killer, horror. And everybody, what's interesting, I kid you not, and this happened at one convention. We went, Dave was dressed as the clown. We went to dinner at Hooters, and the cast of Friday the 13th were seated at this big table, and they were getting all the attention. And when Dave and I came in, where he's dressed as Trevor, everybody, the waitresses, everybody went to us and left them, and they gave us these dirty looks like, who are these clowns here stealing our show? Who are these clowns? What have they done? They've done nothing. Who are these guys?
Yeah, that's
And
such a
so
great
pissed
story.
at us. And I was like, it's not, well, what? And that's the thing. I mean, believe it or not, celebrities want to be in the franchise and always said to us, hey, you get the money for get the financing in, we'll be there for you. But the thing is, what we've been shooting it, we were supposed to shoot in April of 2020, the short called Trevor, which takes place after the origin story. And what's wonderful with the short is that it gets you excited. You know what the character's about, and it gets you excited to want to see more adventures of him down the road, or even to see the origin of how he became this character. So it works on both ends. And we're talking about like a 20 to 30-minute short film, but we're supposed to shoot it in April of 2020. And unfortunately, because of the pandemic, we couldn't film then. We actually started filming it we shot half of it last summer, in summer of 2021. And we shot the second half of it this past summer. So and I act in it as well, besides producing it. I play a news reporter covering the scene of the crime at the of the film. That basically there's a big murder that happens, and my character covers it. And this film is directed by both Dave DeSico and his brother Brian, who I worked with. I produced his movie Clive Unger's Madam X, which won Best Actor at the Winter Film Awards in 2013 or 2012. that year. So working with two different directors on this, and they're both brothers. So I feel like the Coen brothers, but not really brothers. And it's interesting because one of them is more a visual director, which is Brian, who's the one from Clive Unger, while Dave is more the actor director, who, and I was impressed with him on the set where how he talks and breaks down with the actors. And he's been in a lot of movies, Dave. He's been in
That's
The Post with
wonderful.
Steven Spielberg. He's been in The Irishman with Scorsese.
Oh,
So
wow.
he's been
That's
around.
incredible.
He's done TV shows as well, like Quantico, Gotham, the Batman show as well that was on Fox.
Oh,
So
wow. So you've got a great team that you're working with. Well, I did want to say we're going to have to start wrapping it up, but I do want to do final thoughts, but I did want to interject, Paul is a great actor. So if you ever have any parts that Paul could play and it would be perfect for him, please keep him in mind because he's
absolutely, I would love to work with both of you, even you too, AJ.
even
Wonderful.
You both. And I think, Paul, friends of mine, I think. Because
Yes.
we know people. That's the one thing in this business. You know everybody. We're all connected. It's like the 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon in a sense. Everybody's connected somehow.
It's so true. Well, let's start doing, thank you so much, Solomon. We love that. And so let's start doing final thoughts. And we'll start with you, Paul, and we'll see, and then we'll go to Solomon. Or should I start with Solomon? What do you think, Paul?
Oh, I'm good either way. I love the fact that I got to actually meet Solomon. We've connected already on social media, and we have a lot of friends in common. So I just appreciate that, and I appreciate you bringing me in as a co-host, AJ, because I get to meet all these great people. And Solomon, I would never just expect to be put into a project, but I at least the opportunity to audition for it. So thank you. And AJ and I would love to be in one of your projects, whether it's here on the West Coast or on the East Coast. So thank you. I want to invite everyone to go over to paulvato.com. So all of my links are there, all my social medias there, and my podcast as well, Paul Vato Presents. So thank you. And voice actors are actors also. So thank you, AJ.
Yes, beautifully said. Thank you so much. And remember to follow Paul Vato Presents podcast and subscribe to his podcast and follow and support him. And now we're going to go over to Solomon for final thoughts. Solomon, over to you.
Always believe in your dreams, and I've done so much, everybody's told me it can't be done, and I always prove them wrong. I was a shy kid. I grew out of my shyness. I did stand up in my classes in high school before I got to my first acting role, which was in A Few Good Men in high school. I was the Jack Nicholson role. And that brought me out of my shyness, where I turned from a Richie Cunningham to the Fonz. And the whole thing is believe in your dream. Don't give up on it. And from what I've done so much, where I've done the films, the acting, and I even had my own festival, Sundays in the City March Movie Marathon, believe it or not, which ran from 2005 to 2008. So you can do whatever you believe in. So always believe in yourself. And if somebody says no, you can prove them wrong. Believe in your dream, never give up. And it's always about one thing, always about the ensemble. It's not about, one person better than the other. When making a movie, making a play, making a TV show, it's about the team, the collective. If the collective isn't on the same page, it's not going to work. And that's one thing. Everybody has to be on the same page. And also, you need to network. You can't sit there and not do anything. You have to get off your tushies and start networking with people. Otherwise, you don't make any connections.
That is so true. I love that, Solomon. You know what? We are so appreciative of you. And thank you so much for being here. You're truly amazing. You're an amazing film producer, actor, voiceover actor. You do it all. And you're a networker and you do film festivals. It's amazing. So for my final thoughts, I want to say, play it again, Sam. And keep your eye on the ball. Always keep your eye on the ball. Okay, so until next time, please stay happy and safe and stay cool. And Solomon, thank you so much. And Paul, thank you as well. Bye for now.